for the Olympic berth and to represent Team USA in 2016 Olympic Games. I think my whole thing's always been that way. So even Richard Comey, when I won my first world title back in 2019 at 22 against the champion himself, a lot of the odds were always against me. And I think that's when I performed my best. And I look forward to doing that again. All this has led me to now, this moment in time. So I can't wait to really execute it. And can the odds go even higher, make it 4-1, 5-1? I want to break the bank.
Gonna bet on yourself? Need a place for the night? Choose from 1,500 plus locations and get up to 15% off on Motel6.com or My6 app. Wherever you're going, we'll leave the light on for you. Book on
Bank.
Gonna bet on yourself?
I damn well should be, actually. I should be.
Taylor, you talked about defying the odds as an amateur in 2015 and 2016. You and Shakur were the same age. Shakur, you guys were both at the 2016 Olympics, so you guys had to have been aware of each other. What was your impressions of Shakur Stevenson as an amateur?
Well, I first encountered with Shakur back in, I think, 2011 or 2012 Junior National Golden Gloves. Standout kid for sure. Had a lot of charisma, had a lot of swag. New York, New Jersey style. You could definitely see that. I ended up making it to the finals, didn't get the win. And then he got his win, got the glory on that in a different weight class. But he cheered me back up. I was crying in the back. And then there was another time, 2015, National Golden Gloves. I won it, and he did it. He was down, he was crying, and we just picked him back up, But nevertheless, now it's come to the point in the pros where we're gonna face each other, and there's no remorse in this one.
Tia, did y'all, when y'all was coming up in the amateurs at all during that time, did y'all so happen to spar each other? Because I know, usually if you're in the weight class above and the weight class under, they usually have the guys spar each other. Have you and Shakur ever shared the ring with each other, during sparring?
Yeah, we did. I think I was 17. I think I was 17 at the time. He was fighting for the World Series of Boxing. I think it was something in that nature for the amateurs. It was semi-pro, and I think he was getting ready that week. We did honestly, I'll say we did more of a sizing rather than a full combat sparring because it was only 3 rounds. So same thing with fellows like Javante Tank Davis. I think it's really just sizing. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out this time around when we're at the pinnacle of our career.
Y'all both basically from New York City. Who's going to do the most ticket sales for this thing?
Brooklyn, baby. Brooklyn all the way.
All right, man.
All the way, man. All my people go real hard for me. So I'm definitely going to be out there represent. And I look forward to see where we land and what venue we'll be fighting at.
Tio, earlier in the show, we discussed a quote from Terrence Crawford, who's been training with Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, they're good friends. And he said that, quote unquote, Shakur is going to beat the F out of T.J. Lopez. I'm just quoting you there. Tio, we know that you've had your problems with Crawford, too. You guys got into it a couple of times last year, yelling at each other. Is there a little extra for you in this fight, knowing that Crawford is in Shakur's corner?
No.
Playing online. It's alright, sound like you sleep. I was trying to sign you into that. YouTube thing, but it's that. Plus, I'm gonna go back and look at it to see how I play. So you recall me with it? Where he at? Mm-hmm. Where your brother at?
No, not at all. Define the odds, man. Everybody be on that side. I think that they all have like some sort of group plan amongst each other. Even with Keyshawn Davis, they all think that they're gonna conquer boxing as friends. I don't think there's friends in this sport. I think Malik Scott would also agree to me on that part. I don't think this should be friends. This is a fight business. It's not about, hey, I want you to conquer this division, I'll conquer that division. We'll all be friends and we'll be champions. This is not the Klitschko brothers era. So whatever Crawford and Shakur want to do, Crawford ain't going to be fighting for Shakur. It'll be Shakur in the ring with Teofimo.
Yeah, and Tio, I'm really glad to hear you say that. Because what is this? I've never heard it before up until a couple of years ago. Now, this guy say I can't fight this guy, or we're good friends, we're in the same training camp. What up to prize fighting and fighting the biggest stakes and the biggest names and most of that a lot?
That's the purpose of this, right? That's why I'm a lone soldier. I really roll dolo a lot of the times. I don't really make friends with the fighters, in any weight divisions, frankly. I'll greet them, speak with them a little bit, ask them about their training. But when it comes to it, competition is competition, man. This is competition and currency, and you can't be friends in this world. I don't see it. I think that's what makes them soft. It's what makes our era a little bit fragile. So I think the guys like myself that still carry that with the heart of a champion and holding the Ring Magazine world title, I think that maybe we have a different form of looking at it and make boxing great again.
There have been fights that have not happened because guys were friends, by the way. Kenny Norton and Joe Frazier, both Eddie Futch, trained by Eddie Futch, were friends and therefore never fought. Would have been a good fight, right? But it's an interesting thing that stablemates in boxing, traditionally, when those guys eventually fight occasionally, you get one of two things, Teo. Either you get really, really boring sparring matches, or you get some crazy kind of brutality, like they always like I think Maurice Blocker and Simon Brown.
Beautiful.
That was a brutal fight. And
We're friends.
they were. Is there something about the familiarity though? You told the story just now about calling each other after losses in the amateurs, where one or the other of you was crying and being consoled by the other guy. So there is that. You are stablemates under the same promoter for many years. I'm sure there's a sense at one point or another where, he's getting pushed instead of me. Is there some of that going on in this fight?
No, a lot of people don't like me or what I do. I can care less though. I am who I am. So it's just who we are. I think it's basically they're trying to bring the lightweights and take over some people. That's not gonna happen. And then we'll see what happens, man. Maybe I just had a good time. Maybe I'm it's a vacant Ring Magazine. So. I look at the ring as the Rocky Balboa belt, and as a kid, I used to shadow box watching the film. So, yeah.
Yeah, a ring magazine means you're the champion of the world. The other belts means you're the champion of a sanctioning body. And you, Teofimo Lopez, are a two-division.
Delivered by United Tax Consultants. Our phone number is 833-510-1112. This is the tax resolution team. You've been pre-qualified for hardship assistance. You may qualify for reduced or paused collections through the installment agreement. To talk to a resolution specialist, please choose option 2. To be added to our do not call list, please press 9. Repeating that, select 2 now to get assistance, and press 9 to stop these calls.
Body. And you, Teofimo Lopez, are a two-division actual champion of the world. There haven't been that many in the history of boxing. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, last thing though, Crawford, not Crawford, but I'm gonna get to him later on.
Crawford? You want Crawford?
160, yeah.
You're going to go up to 160. Here's the one thing about Teofimo Lopez, guys. You have to take what he says seriously. Because just remember what you were thinking before the Lomachenko fight or even the Taylor fight. Yeah. He won both of those fights.
Hey, and he wanted Boots Ennis at 47. He pushed hard for that fight.
You were the one who pushed for Boots Ennis. By the way, I was trying to say goodbye already, but while we're on the topic, Shakur said you are delusional in a good way. In other words, you have a sense of yourself, according to him, that you think you're better than you are, but actually that helps you. It helps you rise to the level. What do you think about that, what Shakur said about you?
He's inaccurate, because delusional is when it's not real. It's real. It's just what it is, man. I am who I am. I know what I am, and I think that's why, I look at it like this. I may get something out of it, but Crawford sent out one of his little guys to come and finish the job, and I think that's not gonna work. I'm still gonna be here, and if he's still gonna be in boxing, I would love to face him right after. He is the guy. He is the man of boxing, and I think if he could go up 3 weight divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, why can't Teofimo go up 2 weight classes or 3 to face Terence Crawford?
Teo said he sent his little
First
man's
first,
after him, and he's going after the final boss. He's going after the final boss.
Earlier, Teo said that there was no extra motivation with Crawford. Now we see the truth.
All right, Teo, always great talking to you.
Yeah. Pleasure, guys. And y'all stay tuned, man. January 31st, it's a showdown. Let's go.
Bless you, brother.
Right.
Best of luck. That's what we're really looking forward to. Thanks, Teo.
Pleasure.
A plot twist in the Subriel Matias failed PED test story. Mike Coppinger has the info. This is Inside the Ring.
Have you guys heard of the auction app? I got all of this for $30. It's an app called Whatnot. If you've never heard about it, download it right now. Download it. They're bidding everything you can think of. Jewelry, and
whoever wins between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, January 31st in New York City, is the future best boxer in the world. No bull job. The only fighter who would be better than the victor come January 31st is Terence Bud Crawford. Yep. You know how they said Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia was for the face of boxing? This here is for the best in boxing. 100% hit a tight bet. Let me explain. Just think, I understand Usyk, Inoue, understand Bam Rodriguez, David Benavidez, the best fighters. I do understand. But listen to me. Hear me out. I'm not talking about accolades. I'm not talking about accomplishments. I'm talking about who is actually the best. If Shakur Stevenson beats Teofimo Lopez at 140, if you consider his skill set, not just who he's fought, but his skill set, and then beating Teofimo Lopez at 140 is actually the best fighter in the world outside of Terence Bud Crawford. If he beats Teofimo Lopez,
I need to get in. Back door locked. I'm at the back gate. Run! You have to use the bathroom. That's your earring. My earring? Yeah, that's an earring.
Is going to be lit. And instead of buying the pay-per-view every month or being mad that you didn't get the pay-per-view, just get the subscription for $45 a month. That is far cheaper, and you get everything. Subscription, the entire month, already got in the Ring 4 fight. All right, what we got? We got Ring 5, and you know that's going to Inoue Nakatani. You know that's going to be lit. The Ben Whitaker knockout, that was crazy, and contender for Fight of the Year with Bowen and Howling, that was crazy. It's a Tyson Bale. It's only going to get crazier from here on. Now you have announced exclusively on the Zone, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. I just want you guys to know that I can give a damn about who wins the fight. But who do I think wins the fight? Shakur Stevenson. And that's the Black Two Sugars. I got Shakur. I got Shakur. Both of them are brothers of mine. I love them both. Love you, boys. But you guys know what I do in the war room. I just tell you what I really think. I stand on business, win, lose, or draw. You guys troll me. You guys congratulate me. Whatever it is, you guys gonna know what I think. I've been thinking about this over and over again because we knew the fight was getting close to being made. And kudos to those guys for pushing it across the line and not just talking bull jive. All right. I think Shakur Stevenson has more ways to beat Teofimo Lopez than Teofimo has Shakur. Another thing, I don't think we've seen how Teofimo Lopez can beat Shakur. I don't think we've seen it yet. We've seen him fight movers, all right? And don't get it confused. If Shakur start feeling some heat from Teofimo, he's going to move around. And how he looks against movers, like I said, he looks subpar against movers, all right? But Teofimo Lopez is one hell of a boxer, very skilled. You saw what he did with Lomachenko, Josh Taylor. The guy is a phenomenal fighter, all right? You just saw him against Barboza with the display that he put on. People talk about what they hated, right? How bad the Rolly and Ryan Garcia fight was, how bad Devin Haney and Ramirez, but we forgot the highlight, and that was Teofimo Lopez, how he fought that fight. He looked phenomenal. I still think Shakur Stevenson has more ways to be. And another thing, Bud Crawford, the GOAT, is preparing Shakur Stevenson, his big brother. And you know Crawford and Teofimo Lopez aren't bed buddies. They don't like each other. Crawford is going to make sure Shakur is prepared. Shakur Stevenson, and he knows how to deal with his hands. If his hands aren't giving him too many issues, Shakur Stevenson, I have Shakur Stevenson beating Teofimo Lopez.
We were planning our anniversary trip. Someone tried to open a loan in my name in a state I've never even been to before.
Retirement is just around the corner. I don't have time to deal with identity theft. Fortunately for me, LifeLock caught it.
My bookie that I want to try. Now, how confident am I in this pick? Not much. No. Teofimo Lopez is so good, and Shakur Stevenson would be moving up another weight class in 140. Teofimo Lopez's resume is better than Shakur's. All right, it's far better than Shakur's, at least in my opinion. You guys can deliberate in the comments, but Teofimo has a better resume than Shakur Stevenson, meaning that he has better experience, and he has better experience at that weight class. Teo can win the fight. Oh, God, he can definitely win the fight. If Shakur beats Teofimo Lopez, though, he's already agreed to fight Conor Benn. I think that's going to be at a catch weight, like at 144. This is insane, okay? What's going on? How boxing has changed. And like I said, we're going back to the Stone Age. It's the boxing revolution. Listen, I said this before. Not just the war room, but the lead advocate for it was Terrence Bud Crawford. Leveling the buildings and starting this whole thing all over again. There's a new standard of greatness. Terrence Bud Crawford, he's in the forefront of all of that. Thank goodness people are starting to want to be like Bud now. Shakur Stevenson, if he were to beat Teofimo Lopez, talking about moving on to Conor Benn, I'm not sure what Teofimo Lopez will be doing after this fight. But I am going to stand on whoever wins this fight is the second best fighter in the world and the future pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
And the winner of this is the leader of the new school, leader of the new generation. You know, the old is out, the new is coming in.
All right, I want to say this before I move on. Have you guys seen this photo? Now, Jake Paul, we all know he put together the Avengers to prepare for Gervonta Tank Davis. Now he's putting together the Justice League. If Gervonta was Thanos, Anthony A.J. Joshua's Darkseid. All right, it's a Tyson Bale. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. People really jump to help Jake Paul, okay? I mean, Frank said, this is some tremendous help here, okay? I mean, you're looking at big baby Jared Anderson. I mean, this is some serious prep. This is Batman level prep here, all right? I still think AJ should be knocking out Jake Paul inside of one round, but still, he's getting the right preparation. But let me know how you feel in the comments below. Showbiz, but don't. I'm out. Huh.
Road trip with the group chat? Need a spot to refuel and recharge? Motel 6 has budget-friendly motels nationwide. Book with the My6 app and get 6% off your stay. Download the My6 app now.
Yeah. Go out there and get that dog. You have to run them down their feet.
Well, but what else is a dog? Mauricio, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000.
We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000, with $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund.
So since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit, fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker.
It is just regrettable, not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best.
Like, who the fuck you think I am? Well, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit.
I king, I do what I king. I am a revolutionary.
I am legend.
Or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best.
Like, who the fuck you think I am? Well, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit.
I king, I do what I king. I am a revolutionary.
I am legend.
Wow! No bull jive. No bull jive. Hit the tight bell. No bull jive. Listen, I want you guys to mark your calendars and remember today, because this day is the day. This is the moment. And Terrence Bud Crawford, he just planted the flag in that moment. It's the boxing revolution.
And paying your ass shit.
Listen, I want to first say this before I give my take. All right, on Terrence Bud Crawford crashing out, making a huge statement on his IG. All right, it's breaking news. It's everywhere, and I'm going to catch you all up. Before I have my take, I want to first say shout out to the WBC. And I have friends on both sides, okay? And when it comes to me having my take, my unbiased take for the war room, which y'all expect, I have to push aside my personal relationships. Mauricio Suleiman, me and him, we're like this. Chico Lopez, the ambassador of the WBC, we're like this. They've let me hold the belts. Those guys kept in great communication with me over the years. They love the war room. It's a Tyson man. But my take today, my take has to be unbiased, and it has to be for the people. All right? I'm going to have to side with Terrence Bud Crawford on this one. Now, to catch you guys all up, Terrence Bud Crawford was stripped of his WBC title. I believe he was also stripped of the WBA. He was stripped of this WBC title because he failed to pay the sanctioning fee from the WBC. Mauricio Suleiman, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have already caught up on this. He did not comply with the rules. Mauricio Suleiman charging for a sanctioning fee, a percentage of what he usually charged for the sanctioning fee. It's usually 3%. I think for Terrence Bud Crawford, it was 0.6%. Makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000. Terrence Bud Crawford didn't pay the sanctioning fee, and because of that, he was stripped by the WBC. But it goes further than that. WBC being upset, not respecting the move of Terrence Bud Crawford, Mauricio Suleiman letting it be known all over social media.
What if you could check how much your car accident's really worth, and it only takes 30 seconds? Guess what? Now you can. So you got in an accident, it wasn't your...
Mauricio Suleiman letting it be known all over social media.
And it is just regrettable, not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best.
Terrence Bud Crawford responds back with the boxing revolution. This is the moment.
I'm the motherfucker that's putting my life on the line, not you. You ain't stepping your motherfucking ass in that ring. You or nobody else. You or nobody else. So why should I have to pay to carry your belt? You should be paying me. We the one out there getting battered, knocked upside our head, and every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they the government. We getting taxed. It's crazy. I'm still considered the undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby.
Listen. It's the boxing revolution. It's the Stone Age. We're the war room. This is the moment. Terrence Bud Crawford taking a stand. Now, what Terrence Bud Crawford is saying, I agree with. My apologies to my friends with the WBC. But you guys have heard me repeat it over and over again that one of the things that didn't help boxing, that kind of helped kill boxing, okay, was the confusion of who is champion. There's just too many damn titles. And when you go to the casual, who pushes every sport, every media, is the casual, it's the masses, because you can always count on the fanatics' dollar. The dollar that is the variable that varies up and down is the casual dollar, and that's the difference between going out of business and having a growing business. The casual, very confused on boxing. Who is the champion? Case in point, Alexander Usyk, he's the heavyweight champion, right? Right? Then what is Fabio Worley? Usyk has just been stripped. Fabio Worley is a champion as well. It's Tyson Bell. You guys tell me, who is the champion of the welterweight division? Who's the champ? Who is the champ? We all know who was the NFL champions last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Same with basketball, the NBA, same with NHL. You must have a champion. Who is the best? If I'm coming into the sport, okay, who is the best team? I can tell you who's the reigning champion. Not with boxing. Too many titles hindered the sport. It didn't help it. And we've been preaching this for a very long time. And Terrence Bud Crawford, today, making that statement. And he went further and saying the real champion is the ring champion.
I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby.
If you guys don't know, the ring title is the one who represents the lineage, the lineal champion. The lineal champion being that of the man who beat the man who beat the man, or the woman who beat the woman who beat the woman. You can follow the lineal champion all the way back to Tom Molyneux versus Tom Crabb. You can take that all the way back to the 1800s, Jim Jeffries, early 1900s. You can take it all the way back. You can follow him. When a lineage is broken, you can see how you can restart the lineage. They usually have two title contenders. Number one contender versus number two face each other, and that becomes a new champion in case the lineal champion retires on top, and now the belt is vacated. You can start the lineage all over again by having the number one guy versus the number two guy. That's how the lineal champion has been able to be followed all these years, which is why Terrence Bud Crawford said the champion is the reigning champion. So now let me ask you again, who is the heavyweight champion? It's Alexander Usyk. You want to know how you know? It's because he was the man who beat the man who beat the man. He's the ring champion. He's the lineal champion.
If you're concerned about age differences, I advise you to steer clear of this app. The girls here are very direct.
Same for Terrence Bud Crawford. He doesn't have the WBC title. He doesn't. But who is the reigning champion right now at super middleweight? Of course, it's Terrence Bud Crawford. And he didn't need the WBC, he didn't need the WBA, he doesn't need the IBF, he doesn't need any of those sanctioning bodies to let you guys know. Everyone knows who the champion is. So he's asking, what's the point? Oh shit. It's the boxing revolution. It's the Stone Age. I told you, Terrence Bud Crawford has leveled the building. It's a post-apocalyptic era where the buildings are all laid down, and amongst the smoke and the carnage stands a man, Terrence Bud Crawford, to restart this thing all over again. That's the definition of GOAT.
I am legend.
Now, a GOAT fighter isn't just someone who fights very well. Yes, he fights very well, but that's not it. It's also impact. Muhammad Ali had his impact beyond just what happened inside of the ring, but how he changed the sport of boxing, the culture of boxing, media, period, forever. Floyd Mayweather changed boxing forever. Manny Pacquiao raised the standard, and he brought to you a different culture and more fighters who now you want to learn how to pronounce their names. He kicked down doors and he changed boxing forever. So did Sugar Ray Robinson. So did all of those greats, all-time great fighters. And Terrence Bud Crawford today is now amongst those greats. Terrence Bud Crawford making a stance today. I want you guys to remember this, because I think what he's doing, outside of just saying, I'm not going to pay the fee, he's making a point. I don't think Terrence Bud Crawford is trying to save money. I think he's trying to make history. Now, this is just my take. And I would love to know in the comments how you guys feel. How did Bud Crawford's crash out, his stance on his IG and all over socials, his response to Mauricio Suleiman, how did that resonate with you? Here's what I want to say about the WBC and Mauricio Suleiman. And I'm going to play his entire video at the end of this. Okay, I'm going to just play the entire crash out, including Mauricio Suleiman's response. But Mauricio Suleiman did have a strong point. Mauricio Suleiman is saying, you agreed to pay this, which allowed you to fight for the title. We shook hands, we agreed. You have to follow through and pay what you owe. And I think that's roughly $300,000. But $225K of that was actually going to retired fighters and their needs.
With $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need.
So Mauricio Suleiman has a good reason for asking for the money, and he's going to do good by the money. So if you guys are siding with just that basic idea, I get that. But I'm not sure if Bud Crawford, who is doing wrong here, right, by not following through on what he agreed to. Because, listen, man, I mean, what's right is right, but what's needed is more important. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Showbiz, don't. I'm out. Huh.
He did not comply with the rules, and he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century. Luis Canelo makes $50 million or around that. The WC absolutely is not going to charge 3% amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000. With $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great, it's about greatness, and I'm ready to tell you the truth.
I see Mauricio, got a lot to say. about me not paying him $300,000 plus another 100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the fuck you think I am? Well, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about $300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any other sanctioned bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit, fucking real belt is the green belt, which is free, motherfucker. What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agreed to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you? The fuck? You can take the fucking belt. It's a trophy anyway. The fuck am I paying you every time I step foot in the fucking ring? I'm gonna fucking wear down as the years pass. That don't even make sense. I'm the motherfucker that's putting my life on the line, not you. You ain't stepping your motherfucking ass in that ring. You are nobody else. You are nobody else. So why should I have to pay to carry your belt? You should be paying me. If you want to be truthful, you should be paying me. I don't see it irks my nerves how this dude gets on a plane, gets a hotel suite. Him and his buddies, they go out to dinner, 5-star meals, all that, you know. And guess who got to pay for it? Us fighters. We paying for y'all to come out here, have the time of y'all life, stay in the best hotels of y'all life, and it's all done on our dime.
Trip with the group chat? Need a spot to refuel and recharge? Motel 6 has budget-friendly hotels nationwide. Book now and get up to 15% off. Book on motel6.com or download the My6 app today.
Think you can handle this challenge? Download our app and join the matching event. Guys pay nothing but get to experience the thrill of being pursued by women. Let me say it again, not a single penny needed. These women are bold and proactive. If you lack self-control, maybe... So, dare to take the challenge. Download now.
Every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they did. We get taxed. It's crazy. Then he said, allegedly, I made X amount of money. You don't know how much I made. You don't know how much I made. Once again, you're speculating. You're speculating. So listen, Mauricio, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because everybody in the world know you was going for Canelo. You was mad that I beat Canelo. It's okay. It happens. You know? But if you real fan of the sport, you would have, say congratulations instead of having that little smirk on your face, all mad and pouting. But listen though, you should have took the money, and you should have been thankful and grateful that I was rocking your belt around as your champion. As your champion, the WBC champion, the undisputed champion at that. But you want to make it about you. You want to say, oh, well, you stripping. Like, I've been stripped before. IBF just stripped me when I was at 147. Doesn't matter. I'm still considered the undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby. That's the #1 belt.
I mean, what's the point? If you're driving a $55,000 car and you paying over $100 for insurance every month, and you've been with that company for over 6 months, what's the point of staying with them? They're raising your rates mostly.
I've compiled 20 of my greatest cash game videos that I've released on YouTube over the last 13 years. There's nearly 6 hours of content here, all tailored to helping you learn how to crush small and medium stakes cash games, both live and online. I hope you learn a ton. I have taught many poker students to crush live cash games, but I know from reading many of your comments here on YouTube that you all struggle with live cash games. So today I'm going to be giving you my best live cash game tips so that you can crush the games too. If you want to beat the small stakes games for a small amount, it's actually not that hard at all. All you have to do is follow the old school poker strategy where you play tight and patient and you rarely bluff and you play small pots with good hands. And if you do this, you will win a small amount of money. But that is not my goal for my poker students. I want them to win a ton of money from poker. I want them to win life-changing amounts of money from poker. And you do that by not playing the weak, tight, straightforward strategy. If you play that strategy, you will never become an excellent world-class poker player. If you want to crush live cash games for a ton of money, you have come to the right place. The way you crush the games is by having solid fundamentals. Can't say the word fundamentals. Solid fundamentals, and you need to make sure you adjust to exploit the mistakes in your opponent's strategies. Unfortunately, in the small stakes games, most of your opponents will make very, very big errors because if they were world-class players themselves, they would have moved up to bigger games where they can make a lot of money. So if you have solid fundamentals and you exploit your opponents, you will be a big winner in live cash games. So let's start with the fundamentals. It is vital that you have a strong pre-flop strategy. So what does that mean? Well, first things first, enter the pot with a raise when it folds around to you. Do not open limp, that is a big blunder. And when you do raise to 2.5 to 3.5 times the size of the big blind. I realize that in some live cash games, people raise to 10 times the blind, or 20 times the blind. Turns out that's a bad strategy. And you should not model your poker strategy off of players in the small stakes games who are not moving up to the bigger games. Turns out if you copy losing strategies, well, you'll probably will lose yourself. So enter the pot with a raise to 2.5 or 3.5 big blinds, and do not open limp. Next, when someone raises in front of you, you are going to want to re-raise or 3-bet a ton, unless you are specifically on the button or the big blind. And the nice thing about this is that it will usually result in you winning the pot before the flop or making the pot heads up. And it turns out in most cash games, there is a pretty big rake. And you really want to avoid paying the rake. And in most places, you only pay the big rake if you see the flop. And re-raising will result in you not seeing the flop some portion of the time, which is quite beneficial. So re-raise a lot. And also, you're going to want to play generally tight, aggressive strategies. I realize that in most live cash games, they are very loose and very splashy. But again, most people model their play after their opponents. They think, oh, everybody else is limping in with the 9-6 offsuit. I should do that as well. But it turns out it's not a good play. Again, whenever the casino is taking a big rake out of the pot, you just cannot justify seeing the flop with hands that do very poorly. You're going to want to play tightly and aggressively. And I realize that may not be the most exciting the most exciting style of poker, where you get to see lots of flops and play lots of hands. But I'm trying to teach my students how to win money. I'm approaching this subject from that point of view. I'm not approaching this subject from the point of view of how do you get your gamble on, right? So if you want to win money, you must play tight, aggressive strategies. So what do we mean by this? Well, let's take a look at a few game theory optimal charts and talk about a few adjustments you can make in your games. So let's take a look at this chart here. This is the low jack raise first in strategy. That's what RFI means. You're going to raise the hands in red, fold the hands in blue. Notice no limping in. And you're going to see this is actually pretty tight. So where is the low jack? The low jack is first to act if you were six-handed. Okay? So you have the big blind, then the small blind, then the button, then the cutoff, then the hijack, then the low jack. All right? You'll see that really you're only raising the best hands. You may be slightly surprised to see these King X suited is raising, but it turns out King X suited is actually a pretty good hand. You'll also notice hands like Queen 10 offsuit and Jack 10 offsuit are not played. All Broadway hands the best hands. You may be slightly surprised to see these King X suited is raising, but it turns out King X suited is actually a pretty good hand. You'll also notice hands like Queen 10 offsuit and Jack 10 offsuit are not played. All Broadway hands are not premium. Now I will say that you could actually wide act if you were six-handed. Okay, so you have the big blind, then the small blind, then the button, then the cutoff, then the hijack, then the low jack. All right, you'll see that really you're only raising the best hands. You may be slightly surprised to see these King X suited is raising, but it turns out King X suited is actually a pretty good hand. You'll also notice hands like Queen 10 offsuit and Jack 10 offsuit are not played. All Broadway hands are not premium. Now I will say that you could actually widen these ranges a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And the reason for that is because these charts presume your opponents are going to play well. And it turns out most people in most live cash games do not re-raise nearly often enough. They do a lot of calling. And if they do a lot of calling, it means you're not going to have to fold out the weaker hands in your range to a re-raise. So if I was to adjust this range a bit, I would raise Ace 2 suited, King 5, King 6, and King 7 suited, all the King Jack offsuits, all the Ace 10 offsuits. I probably wouldn't play the King 10 offsuit, but you could play the King 10 offsuit, maybe even the Queen Jack offsuit. And then I would play all the pocket 6s, 5s, and 4s, and probably a few more suited connectors, like 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4. I would just raise all of those. It's a little bit looser, but notice it's not insanely loose where you're raising the 10, 6 suited or the 10, 8 offsuit. If you do that, you're going to have a very, very difficult time winning. Now, from the button, you see you get to raise substantially wider when everyone folds to you. Now, this implies there's not a bunch of limpers, right? If there's a bunch of limpers, your strategy will change. But whenever it folds to you on the button, you get to raise a decent amount of hands. And again, you can probably raise a little bit wider than this because most people do not re-raise often enough. Again, a little bit wider, but not a lot wider. Also, when you're facing a raise, you're going to want to 3-bet a lot. 100 big blinds deep, cutoff versus a low jack, raise first in strategy. We are re-raising the hands in red, calling the hands in green, folding the hands in blue. You may be shocked to see that the ace jack offsuit just folds. Pocket 7s folds a lot of the time. Pocket 5s folds a lot of the time. What else folds? A lot of these ace x suited fold a lot of the time. And that is good, strong GTO poker. Now, I do know that if your opponents raise too wide, you in turn get to play slightly wider yourself. But you still want to be 3-betting a lot. And it turns out the only hands that really want to call from a GTO point of view are the good, strong hands that flop well. Those are going to be good, strong, high suited cards and pairs and suited connectors. Turns out most of these offsuit hands really like to 3-bet the majority of the time. All right? What about whenever you're in the small blind in particular? This is a position where you want to be 3-betting every hand you're going to play whenever there's a rake in a live cash game. If you're playing a game with no rake, for whatever reason, maybe the house takes a little bit of money whenever you come into the casino, or they take rake each hour or every 30 minutes, then you do get to play a little bit looser because there's not money taken out of every pot. But if the casino's taking money out of every pot, you really do not want to call anyone's raise from the small blind, because then the big blind gets to call and you're going to be in a really bad position after the flop and the casino's going to take a rake. So from the small blind facing a raise, you're going to want to 3-bet every hand you're going to play. And that's the GTO strategy. That is what you should do against pretty much everyone besides the weakest, well, besides the tightest opponents who are going to be playing very, very strong hands only. As you see, though, still a pretty tight strategy. And from out of position in the small blind, I really would not widen the strategy all that much. Okay?
Get hurt in a car accident and they give you a check that wouldn't cover my shoe shine? That's disrespect. With Case Connect, you don't just settle, you settle the score. 30 seconds, they scan your case, tell you what you're owed, they pay. Or we make sure they wish they had. They got this AI thing, right? Compares your injury to over 100,000 cases. Tells the lawyers what to ask for so there's no haggling. Smarter than my accountant. And he charges me more than my second divorce. You want what you're owed? You let the machines do the dirty work. You file a claim with some regular lawyer, you wait years. Case Connect, they share their secret sauce with the attorney.
Let's go through 2 post-flop tips to help you crush the live cash games now. Tip number 1, stop paying people off when you know you're beat. And tip number 2, do not be afraid to go for value. So many people make the blunder just paying off because they think their hand is good. But it turns out that's a pretty big mistake. You are allowed to fold whenever your generally tight, cautious opponent wants to put in a lot of money. Here we have a $10 raise, folds around us. We call with the king 5 suited, which, to be fair, is already a little bit loose, facing a 5 big blind raise. We get the top pair. We check call the flop. You may say, why not raise? Because if we raise, we get called by mostly better hands, or hands with pretty good equity. Turns a 10, which is not a great card at all. Now queen 10 gets there, ace jack gets there, jack 9 gets there. We check, opponent bets 25. Folding would be a little bit tight now, but whatever, we call, that's fine. River to 7, we check, opponent goes $75, and this is where you simply must fold. If you find that you call in this spot because you have top pair, and top pair is pretty good, you're probably not going to beat the small stakes games because most people do not bluff nearly often enough, especially when a lot of money goes into the pot. So this is a spot where you must be disciplined and find a fold. If we had a hand like king jack here, it's close. The king jack is close. If we had 2 pair, I don't think you can go around folding 2 pair. But this is a scenario where I think you're going to find that the hijack has way too few bluffs, and they're also not going to be value betting thinly with a hand like queen jack. So if they're not value betting the queen, it means they have a king or better. And they're raising from the hijack, so they probably don't have too many weaker kings in their range. So you're probably just you're against a good hand. So if you're against a good hand, fold. Stop paying people off when it is clear they have a good hand. Next, don't be afraid to go for value. So look at another hand here. We have the pocket aces. Hijack raises. We're going to re-raise our pocket aces to about 3.5 times the raise. By the way, when someone raises and you decide to 3-bet them, you want to go to about 3.5 times the raise in position and about 4 or 4.5 times when you are in the small blind or big blind. We get called. King, jack 7, hijack checks. We will definitely continuation bet small and frequently in this scenario. We do get called. Turns to 9 of clubs. Hijack checks. Ugh. What do you want to do in this spot?
Nothing.
Take a second. Think about it. And pause the video and write what you would do in the comments section below. Right down there. If you would check, bet $40, bet $80, or bet $160. I'll wait for you to do it. Go ahead. This 9 of clubs is especially bad for us because it's really easy for the hijack to have a newly found 2 pair or a straight or a flush. So this is a spot where even though we do want to be value betting somewhat thinly for value, this is a really bad card. So whenever you get a really bad card, you need to check it back. When you check it back. River's a 7 of spades, opponent checks again. Now we have to go for value. We have the best hand almost always when the opponent checks the turn and the river, because almost all players in small stakes cash games will value bet the river with a flush or a straight or a full house. So if they don't have a flush or a straight or a full house, we have the best hand. Nice and easy. So now we need to make a bet that will get called by our opponent's most likely made hands that can call a bet, which will be a king, maybe a jack. How much will a king call? Probably something like $100. How much will a jack call? I don't know. A jack may not even call, but